Hello and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 4 ways that you can gain weight if you're currently on the low FODMAP diet, SCD, Biphasic, low fermentation, or some other IBS or SIBO diet. Let's get started now. But before we even get into these 4 things, there's something that you really need to know. The reason you are losing weight is most likely not due to malabsorption. And it's not because the SIBO is stealing your nutrients or anything like that. In my last video, I talked about the SIBO spectrum and how one of the 4 types of SIBO is really more associated with villus atrophy, blatant malabsorption, and nutritional deficiencies. But the vast majority of people here on this YouTube channel are not in that category of SIBO. So if you have been feeling worried or panicked, thinking that the SIBO is stealing your nutrients, or that you have malabsorption or villus atrophy, and that's why you're losing weight, I can almost assure you that that is not the case, and you can rest assured that it's going to be okay. Now, the real reason for this to occur in the vast majority, if not all of the people watching this YouTube video, is because you're not eating enough calories. And this is something you can actually track for free at home on your own. You don't need to pay me or anybody else a nickel. All you do, you bust out your little crack device here that we're all addicted to, and you download an app called Cronometer, Cronometer, or you can download another one. There are other nutrition tracker apps, and you log what you're eating for at least a couple of days. Now, apps like this will tell you approximately how many calories you need to maintain your weight, and if you see that you're falling short of that caloric goal every day, you now know why you're losing weight. Similarly, sometimes people think that they have malabsorption because they're not gaining weight and they would like to gain weight. And they think, oh, I have malabsorption, that's why I'm not gaining weight. But then lo and behold, we do some nutrition tracking with something like Cronometer, which is what I use in my practice. And it turns out they are not eating the surplus of calories they need in order to gain weight. Now, keep in mind, this is a throwback from my exercise science bachelor's degree. If you want to gain 1 pound per week, that means you need to eat 500 extra calories every single day for 7 days in a row. And frankly, I do not see anybody doing that on their own until somebody like Amy or I points it out to them and helps coach them through that. So again, if you're not gaining weight, it doesn't necessarily tell you you have malabsorption. You're probably not eating the amount of food you need to actually pack on the pounds. Now, that being said, let me put my crack device down. And we're going to get into these 4 ways that you can actually start to gain weight. Like, how do you get the 500 extra calories above and beyond your baseline metabolic need to gain even 1 pound per week? And for the record, like, you could go slower than that too. I think 1 pound per week is a number that a lot of people can wrap their head around. And that's oftentimes a goal that people have. So let's say that you wanted to accomplish this. Where the heck do you get those extra calories from? How do you do this? Well, the first tip that I would have for you is maybe a little bit silly, but I'm going to write it anyway. And there are 2 variations of this, but the first is get off the SIBO or IBS diet. Now, I realize some of you hate me right now and you're like, that's easier said than done, lady. But hear me out. This can mean you totally abandon the diet, and there are some people who can do that, and I'll tell you that in a second. Or it could mean that you add in just a couple of foods, like say avocado that's really high in fat, and that could be a good caloric boost for you. The people who can just get off of the diet with absolutely no harm, no foul, these are the people where the diet really didn't help them anyway. They are stuck on the diet because their provider told them to, or the internet told them to, and they've been told erroneously that they need to starve the SIBO, and that's the only reason they're on the diet. But truth be told, when they eat FODMAPs, it really doesn't do anything to them symptomatically anyway. So if you're in that camp and you've just been stuck on this diet because you thought you could starve the SIBO and it was a treatment for the SIBO, rest assured, it is not. I have many videos on this channel that talk about that, but go ahead and just get off the diet and resume your normal eating. For people who do develop symptoms due to FODMAPs, again, same thing, you're not starving the SIBO as much as you think you are. So let's try to introduce individual columns of FODMAPs or individual foods and see where your tolerance lies. It could be that you need to still eliminate the oligosaccharides, but maybe you can get back the polyols. So again, like avocado. Or maybe you can get back the fructose-containing foods like apples. So whether this is totally or complete or incompletely, that's up to you and where you're at in your journey. But the simple solution, if you're losing weight on this restrictive diet, is to get off of the restrictive diet to the degree you can. Now for strategy number 2, let's assume that you're genuinely stuck on this diet and you really can't budge. Well, you can increase the amount of the same foods you're eating now. So this might be good for the people who are really scared to introduce foods. They have a lot of food fear. Or maybe they get a lot of symptoms no matter what food they try. They just can't seem to introduce new foods. Maybe the first step is to just eat more of those same foods that you're currently eating and make your meals larger in portion. Or number 4, I'm just going to skip to that one. Maybe you increase the number of meals or the number of snacks that you eat. Now, some people are going to panic hearing that because the MMC, motility, oh my God, what are you doing? I have a video on that too. I have 300 plus videos at this point. I have a video on everything. I have a video where I talk about whether or not to prioritize hypoglycemia or the migrating motor complex. This is a very similar discussion. The MMC is super cool. I love it. Soup's cool with MMC. But it does not take precedent over your ability to nourish your body. You cannot wither away into nothing while still maintaining good MMC function. Like, that doesn't work. So you have to nourish yourself. And if that means snacking again, or if that means eating more frequently, then that's just what it means. And you're going to have to learn how to have good MMC tone and good vagal tone without dropping meals. That's all there is to it. But like I said, you could make your existing meals bigger with the foods you're eating, or you could add meals or snacks into what you're eating. But that is one particular strategy. The other strategy I wanted to share is to specifically focus on 2 macronutrients. It's not to say the other one is bad or evil or a boogeyman. It's just that when we're talking about caloric density, really the one that you want to focus a little bit more on is going to be fat, and maybe to some extent protein. So fat has more calories per gram than carbs or protein, and that's why it's taking the front lead here in number 3. Protein, I put that there anyway, even though you get the same number of calories from carbs versus protein. But I find a lot of people, if they're not doing like carnivore at least, I find a lot of people are undershooting on protein. And protein is the building blocks of your body. And you need those bricks to build the brick house. So I do find that protein can be helpful for people. It doesn't typically elicit a lot of symptoms like the carbs might. And it's not going to be quite as heavy in your gullet as fat potentially. And that way, if you have any degree of fat malabsorption, you can kind of get away with it too. But I also find that protein is very filling. And again, you can get quite a lot of caloric density with something like fish or meat or something of that sort. Once again, we have reached the end of the video, and I'm going to make the comment that I seemingly do every video, which is I've given you the tools, I've given you the science, I've given you the framework of what to do. Now it's up to you to apply it, and I realize that might be easier said than done. So for example, how do you know if you're one of the people who can just cold turkey get off of this diet or one of the people who has to go slow? If you do reintroduce foods, what happens if there's a bit of a setback? How do you know if it's a symptom that you just have to push through or a symptom that means that you really have to throttle back? How do you go about juggling getting more calories and getting more meals and food while also having good MMC function and good vagal tone? Right? And like, how do you use the Chronometer app? How do you actually assess your nutrition and see if you need more fat or protein or something else altogether? So if you're not sure how to apply this information and you're feeling a bit confused, overwhelmed, or lost, I'd encourage you to check out FODMAP Freedom in 90 days. In FODMAP Freedom, which I'll link down below, we offer a lot of education, so video format kind of like this, but also a crap load of support. There are 4 to 6 live Q&As every single week that you can jump on, and you can get answers to your questions live with me face-to-face, or there's a support email address that you can email at any time, and we will get back to you usually within a day or so of you emailing. So again, if you're unable to attend the Q&As or something comes up on a weekend or something, you can email in whenever you have the question and we'll get back to you when we're able to. But I love providing this information here on YouTube, and I like to think that it has helped a lot of people. But if you're feeling like you need that extra little something, if you need that guidance and support that only a structured program can provide, go ahead and check out FODMAP Freedom. We will be enrolling again before you know it in April, and I would love to see you in that class so that I can help you and ultimately help get you off any of your current restrictive diet so that you can eat freely and just learn how to nourish yourself and your microbiome again. Hey guys, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell, click the like button, and leave a comment down below with the videos that you would like to see me do next. Doing all of those really helps support the channel and support my efforts in making as many videos as possible for you guys. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.